There we go. And looks like you're here. Up again. Exhale. And inhale, lift, stretch, open up the rib cage, and bring the hands down to the heart center. Now let's take our hands to our knees, and we'll make some little circles around the center line. Think about the rib cage moving in a circle. And that might help you stretch that part of the body out a little farther. A couple more times this direction. And then we'll reverse. So you can start small and then get farther and farther from your center line as you test the waters. Make sure that your body is happy with this. So listen to your own body. Only you know best how it feels. And then back to the center. Now we're going to lift our right arm. We're going to place our left hand on the floor and just lean to the side, the arms in line with the ear. And then breathe in and come up. Get that other arm up there. And on the exhale, lean to the right. You can let the head hang to the side if that's okay for your neck. And then breathe in, and we'll switch again. Breathe in, up. Exhale, lean to the side. Inhale up, switch. Exhale to the side. And back to the center. Let's do some shoulder rolls and get this part of the body moving around a little bit more. And then let's bring our shoulders in close to the neck so that we get some nice massaging of the neck muscles going on. And now switch the direction. Oh yes, I will meet you guys in a little bit. Now we're going to relax the arms and do a twist. Right arm to the left knee. Take the left arm around behind. Lift up through the crown of the head so you're elongating from the base of the spine all the way upwards. Just go as far as you're comfortable. Wait, see how it feels. If it feels good, go ahead and turn a little deeper into the pose. And breathe. Breathe your nice ujjayi breath, so through the nose, listening to the breath, allowing for a nice audible breath. Then we'll come back to the center slowly. Move to the other side and lift up through the crown of the head again. The shoulders are down. If it feels good and you want to try a little farther, go ahead. And then we'll come back to the center. Nice. Okay, now we're going to undo our legs and we're going to come down onto the floor, onto our backs. Okay, so lie down on your back and then bring the knees into the chest and stretch the low back a little bit. So while you're getting into that, I'm going to mute everyone so that you can make all the noise that you want. Okay, and then go ahead and lift the legs up into the air. And the arms too. We're going to flex and point the feet. and hands, getting the wrists and ankles ready for more work. That might benefit from getting a little bit more flexibility and a nice lubrication to the joints. A few more times. And then we're going to draw the feet and hands back. So flex and hold. And then point and hold. Flex and hold. Point and hold. And then relax. Let's make circles. And then reverse. And we'll bring our knees back into our chests. Take a nice breath here, relax, let your shoulders sink down into the floor. Listen to your breath, close your eyes. And then we'll let the feet come down on the floor, arms along our sides, and we'll press up into a half bridge, wriggling the shoulders under, weaving the fingers together, and lifting the hips up a bit. Feel the muscles working in the legs, and pay especial attention to whether the muscles in the back of the legs and buttocks are working too, to help keep the hips up. Breathe. And we'll slowly bring the spine down, one vertebra at a time. We're going to stretch our left leg out and bring our right knee into the chest. Listen to your breath. If you're unfamiliar with Ujjayi breathing, we can strict the throat around the vocal cord area and just make a nice whooshing sound. And then we'll take the knee out to the right side a little so that we're aiming now to draw the knee closer to the floor on the right of the right shoulder. So you feel some stretch going across the low back and the hip area too. Then we'll bring the knee to the center, extend the leg, and you can keep a bend in the knee. Bring the leg closer if you're not already feeling a lot of stretch in the back of the leg. If you are, just stay where you are. So everybody's different, and every day that we come to yoga, our bodies and our attitudes are a little different. So just be mindful of what your body really wants you to do. Now let's lower that right leg slowly towards the floor. Let it go down gradually, engaging the muscles in the abdomen. And then rest the foot on the floor. Now let's reach for our left knee. Draw it in towards the chest. Listening to the breath. And let's move the knee to the left of the left shoulder. We're not reaching down to the floor, but going towards the floor. Breathe, allow the stretch a little more time to happen, especially behind the right hip and the low back. And we'll bring the knee back to the center, stretch the leg up, and do a hamstring stretch. If you start to feel any discomfort around the joints, especially the hip joint, then ease off a bit because you might be going into stretching ligaments instead of muscles. So just breathe and let your legs stretch. Then we'll release the leg and let it start floating down towards the floor. Engaging the muscles along the side of the body and the abdomen. And my foot is just about ready to reach the floor. And we're going to let it set down on the floor. And now we're going to bend our left leg and roll over onto our bellies. And place our forearms on the floor, fingers spread out. And now we're going into a sphinx. So we have a slight back bend. We're reaching up through the crown of the head as we breathe in and drawing forward from the base of the spine as we exhale. It's very subtle. You can't really see what's happening. You have to feel it. Draw the chest forwards on the exhale. Let's do one more. Nice breath in, lifting up, and then exhaling, drawing forwards. And then come all the way down. Nice. Take a breath here. Then we're going to place our hands next to the chest and press up so that we come to all fours. So go ahead and get the knees pretty much under the hips and hands and wrists underneath the shoulders. We'll go into some cow and cat. All right, so a nice breath in cow, reaching the hips back and the head forwards. And then we'll exhale, curve upwards. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Draw the abs in towards the spine. And then continue for 4 or 5 times more on your own. Coordinating your movements with your breath. Wherever you are, go ahead and finish the one that you're on. And then we'll come back to neutral. From neutral, we'll bring our forearms to the floor and turn the toes under. We're going to lift the hips up and let the chest sink between the shoulders. And maybe even put the top of the head on the floor. And we're in dolphin. Fingers are spread out so they're still gripping onto the mat. And the heels can be up, the knees can be bent, or the heels can make their way down a little. But bending the knees is a good way to protect the knees. And breathe. Listen to your own Ujjayi breathing. One more breath in. And on your exhale, go ahead and bring the knees down. And we're going to sink the hips back into a child's pose. All the way back. So the hips are over the heels, maybe even coming down onto the heels. Some people like to spread the knees a little farther apart, so do that if you need to. And breathe. From our child's pose, we're going to walk our hands over to the left side, at least maybe about 45 degrees, somewhere in that range, and then sink into a nice stretch, stretching along the right side of the body, especially through the ribs. Breathe. And we'll walk the hands back to the middle. Take a nice breath in the center. And then walk them over to the right side. Settle in there. Feel that nice stretch. And relax. Breathe. And then back to the middle. Come up to all fours. We're going to go into our first down dog of the day. So let's turn our toes under and press up into down dog and walk the dog. Rolling through the feet, alternating which heel presses down towards the floor. Then we'll stretch into our dog, so keep the knees bent as much as you need to and reach back with the hips. Let the shoulders come down low so that we take pressure away from the wrists and hands. And breathe. So the main idea in our downward facing dog is to stretch the spine. See if you can feel your spine stretching, reaching with the hips, letting the head hang down. Now we're going to lift our right leg into a three-legged dog. So just lift it as high up as is comfortable without too much opening the hip to the side. We're going to keep our hips still, facing the same direction. Forward, squared up with the legs and arms. We're going to bring the right leg down and lift the left one. And then bring the leg down. Now we're going to bring our right leg up. Then we are going to bring the knee forwards. Take the knee out towards the right wrist. So we have a 45-degree angle with our knee. So I'll turn towards the front. This is our pigeon pose. We have our foot off, our right foot off to the left side, and then walk the left foot back until you feel a nice stretch in your right hip. So from the side, it looks like this. Some people like to come down on their elbows or bring their head to the mat, and that's fine if you'd like to do that. So again, the stretch that we're going for is in the right outer hip. So if that's not where you're feeling stretch, then wiggle around and see if you can get there. And just listen to your breath, nice ujjayi breathing through the nose, focusing on the breath so that we don't have a whole lot of other thoughts running around in our brains. We just listen to the breath and relax. So let's come out of that now, back into a down dog. Lift the hips up, lower the shoulders. Stretch the dog. Now let's raise the left leg into our three-legged dog. And then bring the knee forwards. Bring the knee over near the left wrist and have the foot 45 degrees out. And walk the right foot back to gently make your way into the pigeon on this side. And then you can have the bend in the back as you reach upwards, or you can fold yourself forwards, whichever way is more relaxing for you or more beneficial. And breathe. Last breath here. Then make your way out of the pose and back into our down dog. Walk the dog a bit this time, loosening up through the legs and hips. And then come down on the knees. We're going to do a balance pose. I know May likes this one. We're going to reach our right leg back, our left arm forwards. If you can lift the right leg up off the ground, then reach it and the hand away from each other. If you need to keep the toes on the ground, you can still get a feeling of reaching. Again, we're elongating the spine by reaching the limbs away from each other, making room between the vertebrae. And focusing on the breath, spreading the fingers. And then bring the limbs down. Nice. Now we're going to go to the other one. So the left foot goes back. The right arm reaches forwards. And if possible, lift the left leg. Our drishti or our gaze is out beyond the right hand. And we can focus on the breath again. And then we'll bring those limbs back to the floor. Now we're going to come up on our knees. Give our arms a shake, especially the hands, so they can loosen up a little bit. So we've been using the wrists a lot. Okay, so now from here, we're going to lean back a few times in a plank from the knees upwards, engaging the quadriceps. So just a few times, go back only as far as it feels comfortable. And maybe one more if you're still in there. And back to the top. Now we'll practice our camel. Let's take our right arm up and around. And then aim the right hand towards the right heel. Lean back, touch the heel if possible. Place a little weight on it if you can. And then press the hips forwards. Once there, you can lift the left arm if you wish. And get a little more of a bend. And then we'll come up. And now we'll practice that on the other side. Take the left arm up, reach, and then go around, aim the hand towards the left heel and lean back, touch if you can. If you can put some weight on it, then you can press the hips forwards, and then you have an option to lift the arm. So if you are still reaching for the heel, take breaks in between. Everyone's on their yoga journey, so just celebrate what you can do. And then come on up. Nice. This time, let's bring our hands down to the mat. Take the knees farther apart, out beyond the edges of the mat if you can, and bring the big toes together. We're going to go back into a toad so we can stretch our low backs again. So sink the hips down towards the feet, bend the elbows, and bring the chest towards the floor. So you can go down part way and just stay there, or you can continue, experiment, go a little farther, maybe even rest your chin on your hands or your forehead. The main thing is to feel a nice release in the back. This pose is a little more beneficial on the inside of the thighs, so we're getting a little bit of a groin stretch in this one that we don't get in child's pose. So just relax here for a couple more breaths. And let's wake up our toad. Bring the chest back up. Bring the knees back together. Now we're in hero pose. So we're sitting on our heels. If that's difficult, just find another seated position that works for you. So let's draw the shoulder blades together. Have a nice upright posture. We're going to work our necks a little bit from here. So we'll start with our anti-vertigo exercise, taking the head from side to side. Not as far as you could possibly go, just a nice turn to each side. We'll do this a dozen or so times. And we'll bring our heads back to the center and nod up and down. Just lightly. We haven't really stretched our necks, so we want to take it easy at first. 3 more times. Okay, and now we'll dip the chin towards the chest, stretching the back of the neck. And listen to your breath. If it's noisy where you are at any time, then go for feeling the breath. Now we'll take our head to the right, rolling it over towards the right shoulder. The right ear is aiming towards the shoulder, but the shoulder stays where it is. Then we'll roll the head back down towards the center, slowly as we go, and off to the left side. Again, the shoulders are nice and down and back, and the ear is aiming towards the left shoulder. And then we'll come back down to the center and lift the head. Let's do a shoulder stretch. Let's take our arm up, bend at the elbow, reach the left hand back, and see if we can touch the fingers together. If you have a strap, that would help. If you don't have a strap and your fingers don't touch, another nice thing to do is bring the left hand up on top and grab on to the right elbow. That way you can use that left hand to manipulate the stretch a little bit better. And then one thing to check, one alignment idea, is to make sure the head is still back over the body. The tendency sometimes is to bend the head forwards. So we'll just lift it back up. And then we'll reach both of our arms up in the air. And on the exhale, bend the left arm. If you want to reach up behind, do that. If you'd rather reach up above, do that. And we'll all get a nice stretch in our shoulders. And then we'll reach our arms back up. Weave the fingers behind the back. So the mudra, or the fingers, are in Venus pose. And then we lift the hands up just as high as they comfortably can go. From here, we're going to bend forwards. So hinge from the hips and just come part way. If it's really comfortable, you can come down lower and let the arms come up higher if that's comfortable too. And then we'll make our way back up and roll onto one hip. We're going to bring one of our feet over to the outside of the other knee, and then wrap so my right knee is bent and up. I'm going to wrap my left elbow around the right knee. So if you're on the other side, just the other one. Take the right arm up. Take it down behind you, fingers away, and then get a nice side twist. Similar to the one we did earlier. Similar but different, right? Because now we're stretching in the hip area. Besides through the spine. One more nice Ujjayi breath here. Then we'll turn the chest towards the front. Take the fingers down, fingers facing forwards behind you. Lean back into your hands and lift the legs up in front of you from the side. I'll do it from the side so you can see. It's a kind of a boat, but supported with your hands. And then we're going to weave or cross the legs on the other side. So now the left knee is bent. We're going to wrap our right arm around the left knee. Some people like to put the arm out on the outside. That's fine too. And then we're going to lift our left arm up. So we elongate through the spine as we reach up and then turn back. And then with our head reaching up towards the sky, we're going to gradually twist until we've reached a comfortable edge and wait. If you want to continue going farther and it's fine, then you can decide that. And breathe. One of the nice things about yoga is that it's not a competition. So we just want to be patient with our bodies. And let's come on back to the center. So have the legs crossed. They can even stack at the knees if you like that. And then we're going to stretch our necks again. So let's take our right arm up so the forearm can lay on top of the head, just gently. And then we lift the crown of the head. So we make a little room between the vertebrae of the neck and then tip the head to the right. With our left hand, we're going to reach up to the shoulder and actually draw that shoulder downward. And breathe. One thing we try to avoid is pulling on the head. So just a little bit of the weight of the arm, that's usually plenty. And then we'll come back up with our heads. Switch. So the left arm goes up on top and we reach up through the crown of the head to make room in the vertebrae. Then we're going to tip to the left side. I guess it would have been good for me to let people know that if you wanted to switch your legs around, that's a good idea. Kathy had. And switch your legs around anytime you think you need a little bit of a break on sitting and sit differently. And then bring the right hand up to the shoulder, draw it downward. And breathe. And we're going to release that, let the head come slowly back up. Nice. All right. So now we're going to swoop our legs around behind us. Come up on all fours again. Turn the toes under and press up into another down dog. Walk the dog. And now let's stretch into our dog once again, lowering the shoulders, reaching with the hips. See if you can feel the lower part of the spine, elongating upwards. Listen to the breath and relax here as best you can. We can keep our knees as bent as we need to. And then we'll walk our feet up to the hands. Hang in a forward fold, Uttanasana. Come up to a flat back, reaching forwards with the crown of the head so that you elongate the spine a little bit more, keeping the knees bent. Bend forwards again, Uttanasana or forward fold. And then reverse swan, come all the way up. And reach upwards above the head. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart center. Separate the feet so they're hip distance apart, the toes a little closer than the heels. We're going to stand in mountain pose. So if the pelvic floor is tipped back or forwards, bring it on into neutral. And then have the shoulders back and down. I like to draw my shoulder blades close together so that the shoulders just move back automatically. Now we're going to close our eyes. So if you need to reach out for balance support, you can do that. Close the eyes, listen to the breath. And if you'd like to set an intention for the rest of our class, this is a good time. Listen to your breath. Feel the breath inflating the lungs and the part of the lungs that press against the lower abdomen. So we're bringing as much oxygen in as our rib cage stretching out will allow. And let's do one more nice big full yoga breath in. Exhale fully, even from down in the feeling of the belly. And then let the arms come down. We're going to swing the arms forward and back. And do a little lifting through the foot. So let's take our arms up in front and lift up on the toes. And hold the balance as best you can. Come out of it and then back up if you need to. And then bring the arms down and swing them again. A few more times, and then we're going to lift the arms and back with palms up. So let's take the arms back, palms up, and lift and hold so that we work isometrically, work the triceps, just holding in there in place. And then swing the arms again. Let's take the arms forwards and up and lift up on the toes. Do a little more balance work and building strength in the feet and ankles. And then come down, swing the arms one more time for the triceps. Let's take the arms back and lift. Suppose you could even come up on your toes again if you'd like to. And release and shake it out. So we're going to take a break for a drink or whatever you need. And then we're going to do some more standing poses. So now you know the program. Go ahead and get a nice drink while I mess around with the camera here. Try not to make too much noise. All right, so if you're already there, walk it out. Rolling through the whole foot. Okay. All right, a little bit more. Okay. So now, standing at the front of your mat, we're going to step back with our right foot. Sink into a standing lunge, keeping the torso above the hips. From here, we'll take our arms forwards and up into and sink maybe a little bit deeper into Virabhadrasana 1 or warrior pose. Once here, reach up with the hands, fingers spread. And then once fully stretched, bring the arms down into the shoulders. Then our gaze or our drishti can be part way up or all the way up between the hands. You can even make a little back bend if you like that sort of thing. And one place to check is if the left knee is going straight ahead. Now let's lift up, turn the back foot out about 90 degrees, the upper body to the side. Take the arms forward and back. Then we're going to look out beyond our left hand. Keep the torso over the hips and sink into the lunge. Keep the arches in the feet so the ankles stay upright and breathe. I like to draw my shoulder blades in here too, so the shoulders find that nice back and down position. Now we'll just breathe a little longer. And then let's take our right arm down, lift the left one, turn the palm back, stretch the hand up, and then slide the right hand down the right leg a little bit so you curve through the body, roll that left shoulder back a bit so you can open the chest if that's appropriate for you. Otherwise, it's a side stretch. Either way is good. I like to open the chest up. And then we'll come back to our warrior two. And then we'll bring our left elbow down today. Do a modified version of triangle. Take the right arm up. If you love triangle, you can straighten the left leg and take the hand down onto the leg. But either way, one place we really want to be cognizant of is that we're stretching out through the body. So we want to reach from the hip up through the crown of the head, so that we're elongating rather than curving. And then come up and turn to the right side. Take the arms down, across, stretch the upper arms, and then breathe in and reach up. Arms down on the exhale and cross. Up on the reach up and stretch. Let's do two more of those. Down and across, reach, and then up, stretch upwards. And do one more while I get a little more light in here. And reach up as you breathe in. Okay. And now we're going to bend forward so our legs are way out there. Let's go ahead and slide the hands down the legs. Keep the knees as bent as you need to as you come down with the upper body. Getting the feeling that you're hanging from the hips is really nice. Check that you have arches in your feet. Touch the floor if you can. Bend the knees more so that you can touch the floor. And let the head hang. And bring the hands up to the knees. Come up part way, so we're about halfway up, reaching with the head. And now that the blood pressure is equalizing, let's slowly come back up. Bring the hands over the head, turn back towards the front, and step forwards, bringing the arms down and walk it out. Very nice. So before we do the other side, let's separate our feet about the distance of the mat, at least somewhere between that and hip distance, a little bend in the knees. We're going to just make our hips go around in circles. You can kind of let your head go from side to side so that the neck gets to stretch around. That's really nice too. And then reverse the direction. We'll do that twice more. And let's switch again. So these circles can be as small or as big as you want. And then reverse again. And then back to the center. And now we're going to step back with our left foot and go on the other side with our warrior poses. So let's bend into our lunge, first of all, keeping the body over the hips. Then taking the arms forwards. If you can reach them up and stretch them. And have the fingers spread. And then bring the arms down into the shoulder sockets so you're nice and firm across the shoulders and chest. Look up part way or all the way up. And even a little back bend for those of you who want to. And we'll rise up, turn the back foot out about 90 degrees, the upper body to the side. Take the arms forward and back, and then sink into warrior two. Drawing the shoulder blades back, and keeping the torso over the hips, and the knee facing straight ahead. Listening to the breath. And then from here, we're going to lower that left arm. Take the right arm up, turn the palm back, reach up into the sky, and then slide the left hand down a little, curve back, still reaching with the hand. Sometimes the right knee likes to move to the left. If it's done that, if it's collapsed a little inward, just take it back up. And now we'll come back up to our warrior two. Settle into warrior two again as the ice cream truck goes by. Another breath. And we're going to bend forward from the hips. So hinging from the hips, bring the right elbow down. Lift the left arm up, roll the shoulder back. Now we have everything in the same plane except for the right hand. Feel a stretch coming from the lower parts of the spine. As you reach and stretch, elongating the spine a bit more. And then we'll come back up, turn to our left side this time. And let's go into some goddess pose. So if you need to bring the feet in a little closer, then go ahead and do that. Our feet are going straight out to the left side. We're going to bend our knees, bring our elbows up, and bend. Bent elbows, spread fingers, bend down into the goddess, and then breathe in and reach up into star. Now bend again, arms and legs. The back is nice and sturdy because our shoulder blades are in. And then inhale, stretch up again into star. Or you can bring the hands together. That feels better. And let's do goddess two more times. Down into our goddess. Breathe in as we reach up. And then the last one, exhale. And inhale up. Let's bring our arms down. Let's do another forward fold. Halfway, reach, elongate the spine, and then take the hands lower, bend the knees, bring the hands or fingertips to the floor, and then bend the right knee so we can get a nice stretch in the left leg. The hands can come closer onto the right side. Arches still exist in both feet. If they don't, try to lift the arch and roll the foot out a little. Building strength in the feet and ankles. Very important. Nice stretch along the inside, especially in the thigh. And then we're going to shift to the left side. Now we're stretching the right inner leg. Checking the arches again and breathing. Focusing on the breath, keeping the clutter out of our minds. Then hips come back up to the center. Let's walk our hands around to the right foot and turn the feet forwards. And then we'll step forwards and come up like a rag doll, a little bit at a time, and curling the spine until you come up enough to take the shoulders back, and then finally to lift the head. Nice job, everyone. Good warrior work. Okay, now we're going to do the twist a little. Loosen back up. And if we shift from one foot to the other, we get that much more weight-bearing exercise onto one leg at a time. Couple more times each side. And then back to the center. Okay, so now we're going to stretch. Well, we already stretched our, let's stretch our thighs again. Let's reach back for our left foot. So if you want to hold on to furniture, your right hand is on a piece of furniture or the wall. The left hand is either reaching for the left foot or has folded it. And then draw the belly in, bring the chest up, and the head is above the body. So we want to stretch here for a little bit. If you want to let go of your support and reach back, then you open up the chest, holding on to the foot with two hands instead of one, and breathe. So in this way, we get chest opener and thigh stretch and the balance pose. And now we're going to let go of the left foot and do the same thing on the right. So reach for the foot. If you cannot touch the foot today, then just reach for it and then take a break and then reach for it again and continue that. So you're practicing, just not the same as everyone else, and that's fine. And now if you want to reach back with the left hand, have the head above the body, the belly's drawn in, the shoulder blades are drawn in, and we just breathe here for a little bit longer. The main stretch is in our thigh. And then release that. Walk it out a little bit. We're going to work on our arms for a little while. So walk it out a little bit more. And then stand with your feet a comfortable, maybe hip distance or so apart. Slight bend in the knees. And then we're going to take our arms back, both arms, puff the chest forwards, breathe in. And then when we exhale, we're going to sink the belly in and reach the arms forwards. Breathe in, reach back, chest forwards, big inhale. And exhale, take the arms across, draw the belly in, kind of like that, but with the arms stretching. 2 more times, open up. Big inhale. Exhale, arms reach across, belly in. Inhale again. And the last one, exhale, reach across. And let the arms come down, shake them out. Now we're going to step a little bit wider apart, maybe a little more bend in the knees because we don't want to have to worry about twerking the knees too much. So we're going to reach around to the right and then around to the left, around to the right. So the arms are swinging and the body's twisting. You can lift the heel of the foot as you turn, if that helps. I think it does help, so you might want to try it. So the opposite heel from the way you're reaching comes up, then you can twist the foot a little bit if your knee is sensitive. A few more times. Then we'll come back to the center and get ready for a tree, but you can take another break, take a drink before we start our tree. So stay hydrated if you've got something to drink. If you drink a lot, then you have to run into another room, I suppose, once in a while, and that's okay too. Okay, so let's stand on our right foot and bring our left one close. You can pivot on the toes if lifting the foot off the ground is a bit tricky for you. You can also hold on. That's another modification. So let's draw the belly in. Lift the foot off the floor if possible. Turn the knee outward. And then we're going to, if the hip goes out to the side, bring it back in line with the foot and the shoulders. Bring the hands to the heart center. From here, let's breathe. Slowly reaching up with the hands and stretching the spine. Let's bring the hands above the head. So the hands are above the head. And you feel like you can take the arms up higher, go ahead and start elongating or stretching the arms. Okay. Breathe. And if you look at one particular spot away from you a bit, then if it's not moving, it might help your mind to still. And then your body might balance a little easier. So you can try that method if you like. Then we'll take our arms to the sides, draw the shoulder blades in, the palms are up, nice receiving position. And now we'll take the arms back up, breathe a bit more here. Nice Ujjayi breaths. And then slowly bring the hands to the heart center, breathe in. And then when you go to exhale, lower the arms and the leg and walk it out. Nice. A little bit more, and then we're going to shift to our left foot. Standing on the left and kind of anchoring in, making sure the toes are spread out. That might help. Arch in the foot, bring the other foot close. Draw the belly in. Lift the foot if you can and turn the knee outwards. Bring the hip in if it's gone to the side, and then bring the hands together. And then we'll slowly start lifting the arms up. We'll be bringing them above the head, possible. And if you're using a support with one hand, then all of this is with one arm. It's fine. All right. if you think your arms are okay with reaching up higher, go ahead and try that. Breathe. If you sway or wiggle or come out of your tree, that's all right. You just begin again. Swaying is fine. Trees sway and moving trees. So it's all good. Now let's take our arms out to the sides, draw the shoulder blades together. Let the shoulders roll back and down. Breathe here. This calm Ujjayi breathing. And then we can bring our arms back up. Breathe with arms up on top again, reaching up through the legs, through the spine, so that we're getting taller as we stand here in our tree. And then bring the hands to the heart center once again. Take a breath here. But on the exhale, we'll release the hands and the leg down and walk it out. So walk, letting the hips move around, the feet roll through, loosening up. All right, it's time to come down onto the floor. So go ahead and come onto your backs and have your feet up on something for a little bit. Time is going by, so it won't be for a long time, but at least we'll get a little in. So let's take our legs up, rest them on something. We'll do a little bit of guided meditation. I like to put my hands on the lower part of my rib cage so that I can feel the belly breath happening. The lower part of the lungs filling up with air. Close the eyes and relax the muscles around the crown of the head. Sometimes it's hard if you've never thought about doing that before to relax those muscles. Sometimes it helps if you massage the crown of the head a little and then you can feel them and relax them that way. Now let's move our awareness to the forehead. Soften forehead. And then the eyebrow area, relax it. The outer corners of the eyes, the eyelids, the muscles of the upper cheeks, across the nose, out towards the ears, around the nostrils, the upper lip, the lower lip. The tongue can just rest in the mouth. And now let's notice the jaw joints, both sides, just let them go. Nice, relaxed jaw. Few more breaths here. And now let's draw our knees into our chests. Stretch the low back a little bit. We're going to go into one final bridge, making 3 for today. So if you need to, walk your hips and shoulders around until you're parallel and on your mat again. And then we'll lift the hips up into a nice bridge, just as far up as you feel like you're working, but it's not excessive. Leave the fingers if you can and roll the shoulders under, making a good shoulder support. And then we'll slowly bring the spine down so the arms go to the sides. Bring the feet together and we'll let the knees go out into a butterfly. And breathe. Closing the eyes still, and any facial muscles that have tightened back up, just notice and see if you can relax them again. And now let's bring our knees together. Let's let our knees go over to the left side and turn our head to the right. You can even bring your knees closer to your arm if you like the feeling of that twist a little bit better. And then let's let our knees come back to the center. Let them float over to the right. And if you want to, bring the knees up closer to the right arm. And then turn the head to the left. Listening to your Ujjayi breath. As we slow down and get closer to our Shavasana. Now bring the knees into the center. We're going to stretch out one leg and then the other. And do 3 full body stretches. Arms up and over, reaching the arms and the legs. Opening the chest, taking a big bunch of air. And then exhaling and bringing the arms to your sides. Breathe in, arms up and over. Stretch. Exhale, arms to the sides. And one more. Arms up and over. Stretch. Arms back to the sides. Palms turn up towards the sky. The shoulder blades draw in and the shoulders sink downward. Close the eyes and let the feet just play out how they want. Breathe. Notice how you feel. You feel tingling in any places like maybe the facial muscles as you relax them again. The shoulders, do they sink into the floor? Fingers, are they relaxed? The toes, thighs. With the eyes closed, start letting go of anything that you would think about. Let the body be as it is. Allow your thoughts to drift far off and away and enjoy the stillness of Shavasana. it's time to start wiggling your toes and fingers and bringing your awareness back to the yoga class. You can stay lying down if you prefer, or you can, after a little more stretching of the hands, go ahead and sit up, rolling to the side and pressing yourselves up into a comfortable seated position. Maybe stretching the fingers a little bit more. If you like to gently pull on them or make waves with them, those are all good. Stretch the spine again in a nice breath in and reach up. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart center. We'll do 3 ohms together. So let's take a breath in. Om Shanti, 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 which means peace, peace, peace. Thank you for joining me today. Please honor the light in you. Namaste. And good job, everyone. Everyone has really dwindled, hasn't it? We had something like 10 or so, and now we have the diehards. You guys.
Namaste. Thank you.
You're welcome, May. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Nicole. It was lovely.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Nicole.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Have a
Okay,
great
have
night.
Have a nice evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
too.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
And Kathy, oh, May.